Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. Happy New Year, 2015, first show of 2015. Very excited. This is a year I'm going to have a intro into my program. I'm going to see some folks that know how to do that stuff, put it together. Hopefully that's coming very soon. I want to thank all of you who have supported me in 2014. I noticed that some of my earlier videos have gotten more views than my newer ones because all my friends are trying to catch up. And I hope you're getting some benefit from this. I'm going to do something interesting in January this year. I really feel bad for Australia. Their wine sales have tanked. I mean, seriously tanked. Now, I have my theory on why that's the case. I think they pumped the market full of cheap Shiraz. Black Opal, Yellowtail, Alice White, Little Penguin, Lindemans, Jacob's Creek. You've seen those labels. They're there. They've just inundated the market with cheap wines, and I think people just got sick of it. And Australia does so much more than just inexpensive Shiraz, Chardonnay, Cab, Merlot. They have some fantastic wines. And so it's my mission. I'm going to revamp my Australian wine section. I'm already looking at that. I'm going to really focus on that. They have some great Rieslings. They do great Grenache. There's many things from Australia to look at. And we're going to do a few here. I do have a Shiraz. I do have a blend from Australia. But they're all more than $10. And, you know, I think about this. Some people actually think, is there an Australian wine really worth more than $10? That's how bad it's gotten. In fact, I'll tell you this, we spent all our time as wine stewards trying to get people to understand that Shiraz was Syrah, and so people would actually start, understanding that. And then when Australian wine started tanking and Shiraz started shrinking in sales, so did Syrah. I think it's related. I think people just, oh, okay, that's Syrah, I'm not going to drink it. Especially if it's over $10. So I'm going to revamp my section. I've got some wines here that I want to go review with you and see how they do. The first one is, and these are all from McLarenville, which is South Australia. Barossa is just a little north of McLarenville. One of the oldest wine regions in Australia. They have some vines that are 100 years old. One of the only areas in Australia that can boast that. Adelaide is really close to there. Adelaide Hills is another appellation in that area. So we're going to try 3 wines here from Australia, all over $10. Oh my goodness. So the first one is the D'Arenberg, the Hermit Crab, Viognier Marsanne. The composition is 2012. The composition is 55% Viognier, 45% Marsanne. Both Viognier and Marsanne are used extensively in the Rhone Valley. Well, not so much Viognier. It's called Condrieu there. But they use a lot of Marsanne in the Rhone Valley. And we're going to give this one a whirl. This rolls in at $16. Is that a lot for an Australian wine? I was thinking about this. How many people buy cabs under $10? There's a lot of them out there. Beringer, Fetzer, Mondavi, Columbia Crest. There's a lot of cabs under $10. Now, that being said, would that prevent you from buying a $20 cab? I don't think so, because I sell a lot of $20 to $40 cabs. And I know there's a lot of you out there that, yeah, you might drink some inexpensive Morro Bay cab, for instance, at $10. You might drink that as an everyday red, but you don't shy away from a $20 cab or a $30 cab when you feel like treating yourself. Well, I think a lot of people see that in Australia and go, why would I pay that for that? Let's see what we get on the nose. Kind of a nuttiness, a melon, a little banana. You get a little bit of tangerine coming through. Yeah, very nice aromatics, which you'd expect from a Viognier. Let's see what we get on the palate. So that nutty sort of banana, tangerine, peach thing comes through on the palate. Nice balance, nice crisp finish. It finishes with a little citrus pith. I love that word. Joe Roberts, One Wine Dude, love the guy. He uses that a lot in his wine descriptors, and I just kind of latched onto it because I think it's a great descriptor for that pulpiness. Not the actual citrus itself, not the skin, but in between. A lot of wines have that to them. Nice creaminess on the palate. Like I said, that nuttiness comes through. Finish is incredibly long. It just kind of hangs on there. This is a very versatile wine. I would do this with crab, lobster. I would do it with clams. In fact, I would love to saute my clams in this wine and then eat the clams with this wine. You could have this with an Alfredo sauce. You could have it with roasted fowl. I mean, there's a lot of things this wine could go with, and it's an excellent wine. The finish is still hanging on. I get the citrus notes. Nice creaminess on the palate. I'm going to go A- on that wine. It is an incredible wine. $16. It's worth every penny. I know a lot of you would go out and easily spend $16 on a Chardonnay, a Pinot Gris from Oregon. This is an incredible bottle of wine for the money. So, if you're looking for a white, don't just skip by or don't go looking at the yellowtail and say, nah. Look at some of the other whites from Australia. D'Ehrenberg, the Hermit Crab, awesome wine. Let's move on to the next one. Give it a little rinse here. This one rolls in at $21. So, you know, this is a Shiraz, Syrah, from McLarenville, South Australia, and one of the older regions. Angove Family Winemakers, Family Crest, 2013 Shiraz, $21. And here lies the problem. Remember, it's okay to buy a $21 Shiraz if it's worth it. Let's see what we get on the nose. Nice, ripe currants, but now this is another beef people have with Australian wines, especially Mr. DG, you know who I'm talking about, high alcohol wines. Some of them from Barossa can just go bombastic, but 14.5 on this one, not terrible. I know there's a lot of cabs from Napa that run close to that. This is not blasphemy with alcohol in the nose. I get a lot of currants, black currants, dark cherries, a little bit of chocolate, just a touch of wood, and just a hit of licorice. Let's see what we get on the palate. Excuse me. Nice balance. I mean, this is not a hot wine at all. In fact, it's a little bit restrained on the palate. Nice dark currant notes. I think there's oak there, but it definitely is not a big part of it. A lot of white pepper on the finish. Again, the finish just keeps going and going, and that is kind of a combination of black licorice, dark cherries, and currants are all there with that white pepper on the end. Nice balance on the palate, nice flow across the palate. Maybe a little bit of heat on the back end, but not in terrible. This wine will age 5 to 10 years easily, easily. But very delicious now. Nice restraint. This would be great with like a rib steak. I could just see you having a rib steak with this one. I get a little bit of rose petal on the back end, which I find very intriguing. A little bit of tobacco too coming through. But nice balance. I like that wine. Did I grade the Ehrenberg? Yeah, I went A- on that one. I'm going to go B+, A- on this wine. Kind of in between. I think as it breathes more, I opened it fairly recently, as you guys know. I try to imitate what the consumer will do. It's been open for a while, but not long enough probably. I'm a big proponent of decanting. I think you should decant your wines. This is a wine that would benefit from decanting. In fact, I'm going to just do something here real quick. I don't want to prolong this show too long. I know you guys have things to do. I'm going to use a little latte whipper. Give it a little blending. My buddy Frank and Donna, my friends Frank and Donna got this for me for my birthday. Frank uses it a lot. And I think, stirring up your wine a little bit, this is one of those latte frother things. But it does help aerate it a little bit quicker. Actually, you can smell the oak just a little bit more. Nice little head on that baby. Brought out the spice and the black licorice like a lot more. Pretty incredible. Little latte frother thing. It's cool little, it's Aero Latte. Really did change the components of the wine, brought out some different things. Pretty interesting to do that. Let's move on to the next one. Again, this is $21 from the same winery. And again, the purpose of the show is to encourage you to look to Australia for wines other than Yellowtail, Jacobs Creek, Lindemans, Black Opal, Little Penguin, those types of wines. Angove, Family Vineyards, Family Crest, 2013 Grenache, Shiraz, Mourvedre. Nice little blend, $21. Actually, it gives the breakdown here. 20% Mourvedre, 25% Shiraz, and 55% Grenache. Now, Grenache is a big thing in Australia, and I didn't really know that until fairly recently when I was doing a blind tasting event with in the sommelier, master sommeliers were doing a blind tasting, and evidently, when they pour Grenache for a blind tasting, they'll either do it from France or from Australia, because those are the two places that are true, that's where they grow Grenache, and they don't want to trick you. News to me. So let's see what we get on the nose. Would you go out and buy a blend from Australia for $21? This one's a little bit challenged on the nose. Get a little black licorice all day on this one, and a little bit of eucalyptus, which is interesting. Get a little bit of baked earth. I'm almost getting a little like strawberries and plums, like really ripe strawberries and some black plum. Fairly interesting on the nose. Let's see what we get on the palate. Yeah, strawberries and plums all day on the palate. Really, a little spiciness, which I like on the backside, like a little bit of black pepper and white pepper coming through. Good. This This is like one of those delicious wines where you sit down and you could drink it and you're going, wow, this is very interesting. It's fairly complex. It has a lot of stuff going on. I get a little baked earth on the mid palate, which is very interesting. Like tobacco notes on the mid palate too are coming through with that baked earth tobacco. A little tar hit just before it finishes with strawberries and plums. Maybe a touch of blackberry or boysenberry coming through. That's a good bottle of wine. I mean, a lot of us will go out and spend $21 on a blend. I can think of a lot of blends that people would spend 21 bucks on and not even bat an eye. You see a blend from Australia, you go, it's too much money. This is my point. There's a lot of blends out there for 10 bucks. Trust me, Dark Horse. There's, well, Apothic Red's gone up in price a little bit. There's Cupcake Red Velvet. There's, the list goes, Snapdragon is one I can think of. Just lots of them. People buy them all the time, but they have no problem raising the bar if they want a little special wine going to $20 to $30. I can think of Abbott's Table from Owen Road being at 25 bucks. People will buy that wine. We need to divorce our mind from Yellowtail, Lindemans, and not compare pricing of Australian wines that are a little bit better, well, quite a bit better than those wines. Not as fruity and fluffy and jelly bean action as those wines. And realize that Australia does produce some outstanding wines at the $20 to $50 range. And if you want to do something special, I'm telling you, this little Mourvedre Grenache Shiraz from Australia is amazing. Yeah, these are well-built wines. 14.5 alcohol. I'm not getting that at all. There's a little bit of wood on this. Not incredible. Good balance. Nice structure. You get all those elements, that plum, strawberry. Get a little bit of that eucalyptus coming through right on the backside. As I was saying that, it just kind of hit on the back of my palate. Big time. Long finish. Nice white pepper. There's a lot of good things going on. I'm going to go B+, A- on this wine also. All three of these wines are excellent. So, come with me on this little experiment with Australia. Join with me and understand that Australia does more. And they do some fantastic wines. They might have to spend a little bit more money, but they are worth it. You know, and always remember this. This is something I'm going to always say at the end of every show. Wine is not a mystery. It's just fermented grape juice. Simply put. It's not a complicated thing. Trust your palate. Don't let anybody ever tell you what you should like. But always remember to be open-minded. And if we do these things together, we can take the snob out of wine.